Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Petal Talk podcast. I am your host, Allison, and today we got my girl, Carolina, on the podcast. Hi, welcome to Petal Talk, where skincare meets soul care. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm so good. I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank you so much. I'm like so hyped. I'm stoked to be here. This is my first one, so I don't know how this is gonna go, but I'm excited.
We're getting into it.
Yeah.
We're gonna learn all about you as a kid, as a young adult, now as a real adult. Unfortunately, we're getting old.
Right.
And learn about your biz, learn about how you got to this point, and really a bit more about your specialty. We kind of touched on this a little bit prior to filming, but, you know, talking about your longevity and kind of what sets you apart. So if people are tuning in, they follow you, or maybe they don't know who you are, share a little bit about who you are, what you do, what your service offerings look like, all of those things.
All right. So my name is Carolina. I'm owner of Aesthetics by Carolina Torres here in Orlando, Florida. I offer a wide variety of services, but my specialties are brows, lashes, and Brazilian waxing. I absolutely love it. I mean, it's been something I kind of niched into. I thought I was just going to be a facial specialist. I do offer facials as well. Dermaplaning, nanoneedling, kind of like the simple, treatment base, but I'm all about brows and lashes are my absolute favorite thing to do, and obviously body waxing. So that's what I enjoy. And overall, just I'm in a small studio and I love it. It's literally my dream. I get to live my dream every single day. So I'm excited to, even start, because I just started again, which we'll get into.
Okay, amazing. Okay, let's go all the way back to you as a child, as a bebe. Did you always want to do beauty? Were you a girly girl, or what did that look like for you?
Always. I've always been a girly girl.
Me
I
too.
used to steal my mom's makeup. I think that's a pretty general story for everybody. My mom, I used to try to go through her clothes, and my aunt, same thing. I love beauty since I was little. I also kind of was like a tomboy, so my mom had me in Girl Scouts, and my dad was a Boy Scout leader. So I used to try to be all girly and do the crafts, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I would try to go to the Boy Scouts and go camping with them and try to learn how to sharpen things and do knots and stuff and fish. Yes. And my dad was just like, all right, let's teach her, Right. So I've kind of been a little bit of both, but always been towards the girly stuff. Barbie movies were my absolute favorite. I know all the Barbie movies pretty much by heart.
Swan Lake.
Yes.
Mariposa. That's my favorite.
Gosh, Mermaidia. Mama, love it. I love it. But that kind of vibe, Disney princesses were my favorite. So for me, I've always just been a girly girl. And I knew in my heart, beauty was going to be in my path. I just didn't know exactly where or how.
Yeah.
Because, in my life, I'm a military kid too. So my father's still active duty. Nice. Kind of that whole idea was military or college.
Sure.
So I didn't know how I was going to fit beauty into it. I knew it, like I said, I wanted to do something along it, but how it was going to fit in my life after college or during college was a huge question.
Yeah.
But it ended up happening. So.
Okay. So you're growing up, and are you thinking, what do you want to be when you grow up, when you're in elementary school? What are you thinking?
That's a good question.
Yeah. What did you want to do?
I hate to sound this sounds a little weird, but I used to really love watching Dr. G, the medical examiner, when I was in third grade. That's the weirdest answer you've probably
I've not even heard of that, but it sounds great.
But I love Dr. G. She's a medical examiner. I actually think she's here in Orlando, and I used to watch it every single day after school.
Are you born and raised here?
No, I was not. I was born in Puerto Rico. I was raised overseas because, again, the military family thing. But for the most part, I was really into the Barbie stuff, and I thought, again, we were going to do something fashion or ballerina or something like that. But then I came to the States when I was around 3rd or 4th grade, and I was really into Dr. G. Yeah. So medical examiner, mortician type of vibe.
Can you imagine now? It's the absolute opposite of what you're doing now.
Absolutely. But I thought it was really cool. But when I got into high school, I knew that I really wanted to do aesthetics or cosmetology. That was the idea. Yep. I knew in my heart, I was just I love makeup. And we all knew the beauty guru era.
I was going to say, so what years of this? What year did you graduate from high school?
I graduated in 2018.
Okay, excellent. So it was at the peak of all of that. Oh my gosh, I graduated at the beginning of that. I was very much around though for the dip brow, the contour kit, the highlighting kit. Yes. I'm these clean girls could never. The things that I went through, I might look like a clean aesthetic girly now. You have no idea the cut creases I've done in my day. Yeah. With the loose pigments and the liquid liner, I could put these bitches to shame. They'd
Right.
have no idea what I could do.
They don't know. They don't understand.
No.
Like, my thing is, I still do a 2016 beat. I am still through and through a 2016 girl. And that's where I learned, like, the true, I cultivated my craft at that point.
Yes.
But I really enjoy makeup, and that's where I kind of landed on. I went from kind of like, oh, I want to be like a doctor. I want to be in the labs, and I don't know how I'm going to do beauty, but I'm going to figure it out. Like, I'm going to, you know, my aunt is also a lab tech too. Love her to death. And I was just like, I want to be just like her. But again, I was just kind of confused because my parents were like, no, you have to go to college. You have to go to college, or you go to West Point, or you're going to go to the military. Yeah,
West Point.
I was like, I'm too girly for this. I need my nails done.
Are you serious? You know, I can't be doing that.
So I was like, no, I don't know how I'm going to do this. But we ended up really just falling in love with makeup. Yeah. Makeup was just everything to me. And I remember just like...
It was such a fun time. Yeah. It really was.
It was the best. Honestly, the beauty gurus, like all of them were... everything. Perfect. Yeah. I used to watch YouTube all the time. Like when I would come home from school and I would practice like my makeup. I used to do makeup tutorials. They're still up on YouTube.
Are they
By the way, yes, they are.
Oh my gosh.
I had so much fun just creating my craft, and it was artistry for me. So graduated from high school, and I told myself, I'm going to go to Paul Mitchell Beauty School. That's really what I wanted to do. And my parents were like,
what about West Point?
What about
Have
going
you heard
to college?
of the Air Force Academy?
And they wanted me to follow the path I wanted to, but they at first didn't want me to just go into the beauty industry. And, you know, Hispanic household, you know, very military. My entire family's military. That whole ideal was a little concerning more than anything. And
it does get a bad rep, unfortunately. Like, people just think that you make no money, which is just not true.
It's very, very not true.
Right.
And I told my parents, I was like, you guys, like, just believe in me. Come on, let's do it. And they said, no, you need to go to college. We want to set you up for success, right? And I ended up, you know, going to college. I did my 2 years at Valencia. Actually, I did my AA. And I loved it. I thought it was cute. I met amazing people. But for the most part, I was just not happy. I was not happy. I remember my first day of college, I came home crying my eyeballs out.
Me as well.
Like,
I dropped out.
Why am I here?
I get it.
Why am I here? But it was because I was like, I showed up to the wrong class. And in Valencia, there's like quarter classes, like advanced classes in the semester. So they're kind of like quarters, like in high school. And I showed up to I went to the right class, the right instructor and everything. And then I remember I'm like, you know, here looking cute. I had a full face of makeup, of course. And he
cutest one in the class, no doubt.
Right. And I showed up, I sat down, and he was calling attendance because, you know, in Valencia, that also counts towards your grade. So I remember sitting there, and he said, well, did I not call anybody's name?
Like, oh God. Me
actually. And then he kind of like went through all of the rosters, and he said, in front of the class, mind you, and that was the most embarrassing part. And he said, actually, you're not in this section, you're in the next section, so you're not in this class. Like, and everybody looked at me, and I remember kind of just like, oh, like, thank you so much, like, I appreciate your time. And I ended up picking up my stuff. I had like my little purse. I didn't have a backpack, Mama. I had a purse. I was like, you know, with my Starbucks. You know? And I remember just being so embarrassed. And I went to the car, and it just sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. And it was like, why am I here? This is not what I want to do. I'm not happy here. I threw I don't even want to say like I crashed out, but I crashed out. Crashed out.
I have almost the exact same story. Seriously. I was sitting similarly. I went to orientation. I was like dying. There was these catty girls behind me. Same, because, you know, we're looking cute, and I'm like, I can't be doing this again. Like, really, I already went through it with high school. There's no way I'm doing this again. Similarly, went to the guidance counselor's office immediately, had my crash out, and I was like, Mom, I can't be doing this. Like, if you want me around, we got to do something else. This is not working. And I didn't even know that beauty school was an option. And then I found the school that I went to, and I was like, oh, wow, I'm going to be okay. Actually. So I'm sure that's similar to then what happens to you. So you decide this maybe isn't for you, or what happens after that?
Well, after that, I still went to school. It's not that I didn't have an option, but it was more so like, They were like, just finish it out.
Sure.
Stick it out. Do what
Yeah.
you have to do. Get your degree. And then later on, you know, we'll talk about it in the future. And I finished my AA. It took a while. You know, I was in school during COVID. So I finished my AA during COVID. And I ended up going to beauty school pretty much right after. I had, you know, been seeing an esthetician. And I still, you know, absolutely give a lot of credit to her because of my career. Because she was the person that really said, like, you should do this. And it was during that time after COVID, like, she was offering facials and whatnot. And she was a hand and stone, and she became a solo esthetician. And I had just finished Valencia, and I was talking to her, and she's like, I know your mom and your aunt. Yeah. Like, let's do this. Like, let's get your parents into this conversation. Like, you need to do what you love to do. And because of that, she was amazing.
And she provides, like, a level of like, stability, right? It's like, I'm someone who, I know that you think she's not going to be able to, like, pay her bills, but I can. And I'm telling, like, validity in, this is a legit career, this is a legit source of income, of whatever. I'm sure that having that, like, an adult, and I use that so loosely, but, like, backing you up, I'm sure was really everything. The thing that you needed. Yeah.
It was everything. And she, I will say, like, if it weren't for her, I don't think I would be where I am at right now. And I mean that wholeheartedly, because at that point in my life, I was like, how do I get into beauty school? What is it going to take for my parents to convince them, you know, to be like, I want to do this so bad. And having her in my life, I mean, was like the star of it. Yeah. And I went in there. That. Yes. Are
you guys still close?
No, not really, actually. No. She got married. She has her own life. And then, of course, business in my life. We kind of went our own ways. But I absolutely have nothing but amazing things to say about her. Honestly.
I love that.
But if it weren't for her, again, I wouldn't have gone to the school I went to. Yeah. And she actually was an instructor there. And
so talk to me about beauty school, because on the show, we talk a lot about beauty school, right? Because pretty much everyone has been to beauty school who's on the show. I loved my beauty school experience. I had a great experience. I had so much fun. Yeah. I loved everything about it. I hear that that's not the same for everyone. Most people, I feel like, actually hate their school experience, which is such a bummer, because I just don't relate to that at all. Even to this day, the girls that I went to school with were very close. I met all of my best friends from that era. Yeah. And I'm taking it from your silence that you probably didn't love it either. So tell me about your schooling experience.
I had a good experience. I will say my classroom was... I try to keep it lightly, professional, but my classmates, I had a great class. I mean, it was one of the best classes that school had seen in a long time, and I can say this wholeheartedly because we really got along really well. But you know, of course, with schools and their politics and stuff that happens, and you know, the lack of product and sometimes lack of supervision, correct. Yeah, there was just some questions that you felt like you weren't getting answered. Yeah. And at the time, like, being in school, we had the books. Now it's a whole different story, but we had the physical books, and they would tell us, okay,
like a Milady's textbook.
Textbook, yes. And we had to do the workbook for homework, and I remember just them saying, okay, well, turn to page 52, and if you finish your 52, you're good for the day, or good for the week, or whatever. But I felt like I was teaching myself a lot of the time. Yeah. But I did have incredible instructors as well, and they had their certain niches that they were amazing at, and I learned from them. But a lot of it came from YouTube. Yeah. A lot of it came from practice, and everybody always argues this, right? They feel like, oh, aesthetic school is such a waste of time.
It's just get your license.
Just get your license. And I'm like, that is your stepping stone. That is where you're going to learn so much information. And I will talk about it as the instructor, or as an instructor side later on.
Because So
I've had a lot like I feel like I've lived 10 lives.
That's how I feel.
In that time frame, you know, I was at a different mindset as well. I was like, I need to go. I need to sell. I need to finish. And I got kind of lazy because I was getting frustrated, honestly. Yeah. But for the most part, I was really on top of my sales. I was, you know, I won, we had a competition in the class of who can sell the most product, and I ended up selling the most product, and I got a free bottle of whatever. But I was like, man, I really love what I do. I was on top of my homework. I was, you know, sometimes my classmates and I would be together doing homework, and I'm like, all right, no, I got to finish. You guys can go talk. I'm going to go do this, right? So in my head, I really wanted to accomplish this goal, but I felt like I was kind of alone in that. And I did make friends. I did make I met incredible people that I have on social media that, you know, they have their own lives, but we're still kind of connected in a way. But
like
for
nothing but love.
Nothing but love. But for the most part, beauty school was a fun experience, and if I could go back, I would do it again. I would
too, and I would just do it so differently. I was really young when I started. I graduated high school early, and then I went to beauty school right away. I was 17, and so now, you know, 11 years later, I would do things like very differently. But let me tell you, I had the time of my life. I really, really did. But there is something too about also, and I don't know if you relate to this, but I hated traditional education. And so finally learning about something that I cared about changed my whole life. I'm like, oh wait, actually school can be fun when you care about it. Shocking. I had no idea.
Your grades will actually be good.
Correct. I'm like, wow, I barely graduated high school, but I was top of my class in beauty school. That says something to me.
Correct.
So you finished school, and then what do you decide? Did you know in school what you kind of wanted to niche down to, or did you have any ideas of what you wanted to do, or what did after school look like?
Well, okay, so when I signed up for school, I kind of had an idea, like, yes, I wanted to be an esthetician, but I also was considering cosmetology. Because I wanted, in my head, if I was going to go to college, right, I was like, I want to be a teacher. That, I don't know how that came about, but maybe because I was in my church and I was teaching the kids there, I was like, yeah, I'll become a teacher, right, while I was in college. And I told myself, well, if I'm going to do cosmetology or aesthetics, I'd be a teacher during the school year and then be a bridal stylist during the summer and all that stuff. So that was a thought that I'd had, and I remember just kind of like asking a lot of questions as to what I wanted to really be in the industry, and it was mainly makeup and hair, or makeup and facials and skincare. Really was what I wanted to niche in, and I really, really enjoyed it in the beginning. And I still do.
I was going to say, how long did your bridal career last for?
I did a couple bridesmaids. I did a couple of like trials, but it wasn't.
Bridal's tough.
For me, it's tough because you have to really understand not only color theory, but you have to really understand the bride. And it's a big day.
And the vibes.
Their vibes.
And the
whole, stress, the anxiety.
It's a lot.
For me, it was just, I don't know. It wasn't for me. But in my mind, I originally went into the makeup idea. Then I worked with natural makeup for the first time in my life.
You and me both. It's hard. It's really hard.
Oh my gosh. Like I never realized or thought I hated makeup.
What is the longest route possible to make this happen? Let's do that. Like,
literally, I was just like, no. And literally after I worked with natural makeup, I said, I don't think I want to do this.
I don't blame you.
No. Then I just said, you know what? I'll be a facial and brow specialist. I was very good at eyebrows I would say the get-go. I was in high school when
you were raised on a thick brow.
Girl, yes. I loved me a good eyebrow. When I was in high school and I lived overseas in that school, I was doing people's eyebrows in the after school program, and I was plucking eyebrows and using little scissors to like trim them. And then, as time goes on, I'm in beauty school and I'm just loving doing eyebrows. So really it was facials and brows. That was my first step that really, really solidified me in the industry for sure.
I love that. When or I guess my question is, how quickly do you finish school and then decide to open your own business? Or what did that season look like? You're like, bridal's obviously not for me, but I'm loving brows and some makeup. How do you then get to where you're at now?
Wow. This is
where the story gets spicy. Tell me about it.
So I actually was approached by an instructor.
At the school you graduated from?
Yes. Okay. So I was still in school, and the instructor I was telling you about earlier that introduced me really into the field, she was also still working there. She had a business with a partner who was also another instructor that was working there. And I loved them both. I mean, I was just like, oh my God, I want to be just like you guys. Like, how do I get to be just like you? But the instructor that was my mentor, she decided to pull herself out of the business. She was like, I kind of don't want to do this anymore. I mean, obviously stay in the industry, but she didn't want to be a business owner. So essentially, it's not for everybody. But I was offered to kind of take her place. And I was approached by this instructor, and he said to me, like, I really love how you work. You are so professional. I love your vibe. You can teach me. You're young. You're great with social media. Like, please, I want you to come to work with me. And I was like, okay, like, I'm nervous, but like, let's do it. And, you know, I was told by my mentor, like, listen, just be careful, be mindful, because business is not just you start doing services. Like, you have to really put in the work and be conscious of your decisions, basically. So I was just like, okay, I'm still doing it. So essentially, as soon as I graduated, like within a week or two, I was working in the studio. And it was a salon suite in Winter Park, and I loved it. It wasn't my spot yet. He let me, because he was actually, it was already decorated. So he just let me add a couple of things, but he was like, you know, teach me, I teach you. And long story short, I would say about 2 or 3 months later, I was kind of given the conversation, like, listen, really love you, but I really want to do this by myself.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was hard to hear that. And I felt really defeated in that moment because it was so heartbreaking for me. I was like, but I just started, but like, you know,
you didn't give me a chance yet.
You didn't give me a chance. Like, we didn't even get to actually, you know, I didn't get to teach you social media. And, you know, he was like, well, listen, you know, I know you're going to do amazing things, but I really want to take my business to, you know, to even further. And he didn't see me in his future. Sure. Which, understandable. And at the time, you know, I'm younger, I'm 20 years old, 21 years old. And in my head, I was like, he hates me. This is horrible. I can't believe this happened to me. I had such a victim mentality at the time, obviously.
It's a huge blow to the ego, though, too.
Yes.
Like, period. Yeah.
And you learn from it. Because at that time, again, with that mentality, I was so broken and whatever. And the suite owners, the salon suite owners, reached out to me and they said, well, hi, we have a suite available in Oviedo if you want to check it out. And I said, okay. So my mom, my grandma, my grandpa, my aunt all came to the salon suites and we did a tour and I fell in love with it. Yeah. And I was like, man, I really love this place. And it's like 20 minutes from my house. And my aunt was the one, she was like, do it. Just do it. Like, what's stopping you? I'm like, money. Yeah. Yeah. Because salon suites, that's a whole other thing. It's very expensive.
And you don't have a clientele really at this point.
Nope. I had nothing. Right. I had a few and I was, again, starting really like to get into my social media realm, but nowhere near like where I'm at now, obviously. Right. But I get to the salon suite. My aunt says that and I'm like, okay, well then what? I can't afford this. And so she looks at me and she says, well, how much is it? I'll pay the deposit. Stop. So my aunt paid deposit for my salon suite. Yes. Yeah. And I was like, okay, we're doing this. Like, no turning back. Scared. So at that time, I ended up getting a job with David's Bridal. Okay. I was working as a bridal stylist for fun. For fun. Yeah. For fun. And I also said, if I'm going to have a salon suite, I need to have money. Yeah. So at the time, because I didn't have the clientele, I essentially used the money from my, of course, bridal stylist job to pay for the suite. Right. But it took a couple of years to build. I was doing well. I just really worked my butt off in that point in my life. And it was hard because it was expensive. Yeah. And, it was a very scary venture because starting a business is not easy. People forget that when you graduate, I want to start a business. I want to be an
Everyone
esthetician.
says that.
I want to have my own schedule. Like, I want to, I want to work
vacation. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Right. And I'm just going to post on Instagram all day. I'm like, you literally have no idea what it's like. Correct. You actually couldn't even handle it. It's so funny, even talking about being in education, right? And I was in education for so long, and I'd meet these students, and if there's a class of 20 of them, 18 of them want to own their own business. And I can just look and I'm like, maybe one of you will. Like, you don't even understand what it takes at all. Correct. So yes, I understand.
And let me tell you, in my class, there was like 30 girls in my class. And I think maybe 5 of us are active estheticians.
I believe you. Yeah, I believe you.
And I think out of the 5 of us, 3 of us are business owners out of that whole class. Yeah. And it's so sad because there were there were some girls that I was just like, man, you guys
have to want it though.
But yeah, you have to want it.
And it's hard. And it's hard to want it when you have no clientele. Right. It's hard to want it when you have to work multiple other jobs to pay for just the suite itself. Like, I always say too to girls, yeah, your schooling might have only been a few months, but that full first year after school is also school. Correct. You are learning so much in that time. Yeah. You are understanding what it means to balance things but you don't even really get to have balance because you got to take them for what you can. You're like throwing services around just to get them, even if they're cheaper, because you'd rather do it for cheaper than not at all. Right. Like it's really...
It's tough. Your first year, it humbles you so quick. Because I thought I was some hot shit in school. I was like, I'm going to do this. Yes. And look at me. I got picked by an instructor. Yes. You guys did it.
And you have no idea, like, all the padding that even comes with that. And then you're on your own and you're like, oh, wait, never mind.
Right. And in my head, I was just like, man, I'm so excited, but I never lost that drive.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I never lost that drive. Even when my parents said no, even when I was told by, exes, even like, come on, like, good luck. I said, I don't care what any of you guys have to say. Like, this is what I want to do with my life. And if you're going to stop me, then you basically don't belong in my life.
Absolutely.
And so even then, like, through all the trials, through all the tribulations, even I ended up, and we'll talk about it a little bit, but I ended up closing that studio and that space later on down the line. And I took a whole year off.
Okay.
And that was hard.
You close it because you have not enough to feed the business, or you close it for why?
That's a tough question, because at the time I ended up leaving David's Bridal. So I started in January of that year. I left David's Bridal around, I would say May or June. So I was there for about 6 or 8 months, I believe. And then in August, I started kind of working at a beauty school, not necessarily actually like being hired there, but I was doing like social media marketing.
Sure.
And I was asked by my mentor, because she was working at that school instead. And she was like, hey, can you come in and do some social media classes?
Yeah.
And started doing that. And I was introduced by her to the director, all the people that were there. And I was just like, wow, I actually really like this place. So essentially I started also working there. And working there, I also was going to the University of Central Florida online and in person.
Okay.
And I was doing the salon suite full time. So I was doing 3 things, juggling
Your plate
3
is full.
things. I was super full.
Why did you decide to go back to school?
My parents.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be straight up. I have always, it's not that I never believed in college, because I do. I believe it's a wonderful tool for, advancing yourself in education. I think education is super important.
Absolutely.
But I also I'm like, I'm not. I was just like, Mom, Dad, like, get it already, please.
I totally get it.
But I went back to school kind of to say, okay, I got to go to beauty school. Now I'll do what you guys kind of want me to do.
Yeah, it's a compromise.
It was a compromise,
appeased me, I appeased you.
Yes.
Fine, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Right.
So at that time, I also was just like, okay, teaching isn't for me. Well, teaching was for me, but to do teaching, it was a whole other like avenue through UCF. So I was like, no, what is something that I can do right now that I absolutely love, that if I were to get a degree, I could do it anywhere. So it was psychology. So I am a psych major. I absolutely love psychology. Yeah. I kind of fell into it at a young age, like the whole medical examiner thing that I kind of go back to.
Right.
I really love true crime stories, and I wanted to get an idea of like why people do what they do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it originated.
Why do they do that? It's really not good.
It's horrible, right? Yes. So I kind of originated my whole love for psych at a young age, and it followed me.
Sure.
And I've always been about, catering. I've always wanted to know about people's feelings and all the love and rainbows and unicorns. Like, I love talking to people about their mental health and their struggles. Sure. So I kind of said, you know what? If teaching isn't for me, I would love to be a mental health therapist. If, God forbid, this weren't to work out.
Yep.
So I went to school and started doing my psych degree. I have about a year left. That's a whole other thing in my family. They're like, finish school already, please. And
You're
I'm like,
no.
I don't know. We'll see. But I kind of ended up getting really burnt out.
Of course.
And that's why essentially I ended up closing my second studio.
Okay.
I got burnt out. The rent was getting expensive.
Yeah.
And because of my burnout, I wasn't posting on social media.
Sure.
Which that's, again, we'll talk about that. Social media is so important in this industry. People forget. But the idea that I was juggling several things at the same time was a lot mentally. And I ended up just kind of giving up, honestly, on myself. And in some ways I didn't, because I was like, no, I can do this later on. I just need a break.
Yeah. Like a bit of a reset.
I needed a reset. And it was so heartbreaking. I'm a very emotional person through and through. I remember I was closing the doors to my studio and I lost it. It was horrible.
It's sad.
I didn't want to do it, but I was like, this is not my time right now. Like I had a feeling like in my heart, I was like, God, please, like give me a sign. Like this is not it, you know?
Yes.
But I was guided in a different direction. And if it weren't for that direction, my career basically changed after that.
Sure. Yeah. So after that, you are working at the school now full time, or what did that look like?
Essentially. So I ended up kind of leaving the school for some time to focus on college.
Yeah.
So they were pretty flexible with me and they were like, okay, do what you got to do. Come back when you want to. We love you. Please come back.
Yeah.
And I ended up coming back after I closed my studio to the school. And I ended up being there full time. I was a teaching assistant and with my mentor. And then I learned a lot. I mean, that whole entire year or 2 years almost that I was there was interesting.
It's tough. Working in beauty schools is really tough, and people don't.
You have to have a backbone.
People don't talk about it enough.
Yes.
I've told you this, but I worked in beauty school and beauty school education for like 8 years, and I did that in Colorado, Utah, and in Nevada, and Vegas.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and every city, every state was harder than the next, and it was crazy. You know, even when we touched on earlier, like, oh, schools, like, it's so chaotic, whatever. Like, no, really, beauty schools are a really well-oiled machine. Right. And when they're not well-oiled, it's very apparent. It's its own ecosystem.
Yeah.
And there's legalities, and if it's federally funded, there's other things that come with it. And,
there's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And and I worked there for years. Like I mentioned, I was in retail education and like sales in general. I was a TA for a little bit. Then I was my own educator. Yeah. Then I taught like only the makeup classes for a long time. Wow. Then I was in admissions. I did admissions for years. I loved it. Then I was in operations and I was in just like leadership in general. And then, for that same company, worked for them on a corporate level, did marketing,
wow. You really went like, I'm
telling you,
incredibly like,
I couldn't have gone any further. And honestly, that was a huge reason why I left. I taught for their North American artistic team.
Beautiful.
I probably honestly like helped write some of the curriculum that you had in school, because I was like so like many years doing that, but I kind of couldn't get any further, and the culture was really starting to like weigh on me, like really. And I was like, this is not for me. I was really starting to feel like the more advancements I made in my personal life and like the happier my personal life was, the more unhappy they were with me. And I was like, we should be able to have our families and our personal life and our work life.
Absolutely.
I shouldn't have to pick. Like I remember my brother was graduating from college. He's kind of your age. And I was like, of course I'm going to not teach classes because I'm going to go see my brother graduate from college. Yeah. And I'll never forget, one of my colleagues was like, no, like if you want to go to the graduation, you fly in the morning of, you sit in for the graduation, then you fly out the evening of, and you hustle and you grind. And I was like, oh no, but like my real life really matters to me.
Yeah. There should
and
be
showing up for my family
balance.
is really important to me. And so, you know, at some point you just leave, but it's a really beautiful industry to be in. And I was in it for a really long time. But when people are like, I was at school, so I'm like, oh, I get it. Like,
I get it.
Really
Absolutely.
hard. Like it's really, really hard. So you were there for 2 years.
Yeah.
Which 2 years is a long time in beauty schools.
Yes.
You were in education the whole time, or were you in sales too? Or like, what did that look like for you?
I was TA for the most part of it, and then I became an instructor.
Okay.
I don't know if I was supposed to be an instructor,
sure.
but
like, do they in the state of Florida make you take a specific educator's test and get like your educator's license? I don't know if they do.
That's a wonderful question.
I don't actually think that they do. I think that's state by state. I don't think you always have to, but in states I've lived in before, you've had to, but I don't think it's like that here. Because you don't have to have that many hours here either.
I'm not really sure. 1,000%. I was kind of pulled into that role because people were in and out. It was
I was gonna say lack of, turnover. I'm sure.
High turnover. Yes. And that's how it always is. Like, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yes, and it's not just one place. It's many, many others. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
And I don't know why. Like, do you think, okay, so my opinion, because obviously I talk about this all the time, I think it's because, like I just mentioned, there is no balance between your real life and your work life.
Correct.
It's 12-hour days in some instances.
Yes.
Like, the schools I worked in were 3 days a week from 8 to 8. That's a long day.
It's a very long day.
And then you have your 3 days of school, and then you have your, like, one, like, office day.
Yep.
And I think it's just a lot on the body. You're like running around. You're dealing with crazy women sometimes and crazy men. Guests are crazy. Students are crazy. And it's just like a lot of work. Like, it's just hard. It's a hard job.
And I'm like re-traumatized.
No, literally. I'm like, wait, why did I do that for so long? And I always say, I'm like, it's because I was so young. It's because I was so young and naive. I wasn't set in my ways. There's literally no way me now I could work in a beauty school because I'm so flippant. Like, but at the time when I was 17, it was no big deal because I didn't even have my own backbone. I had no professional opinion. I had no guts to like speak up for things that bothered me. But now, oh my God, there's no way I could work there.
No.
There's no way.
So there was a lot of high turnover, and I saw a lot of things, right? Like I saw a lot of miscommunications, a lot of he said, she said, they said, there was a lot of trials and tribulations.
Right.
And honestly, if I could go back, I would change how I would do things in a way. But I'm also so glad that I went through that. Yeah. So I became an instructor pretty much without realizing it.
Sure.
So they said, hey, can you step in and teach how to do eyebrows? Can you step in and teach doing this? And I'm like, I don't know how to teach.
Sure.
And they said, you know how to do it. Just tell them what you're doing, basically. And I had, of course, an instructor there, or she was, in a meeting and said, hey, can you just do this really quick for me? Sure.
And then you never left.
And then I pretty much never left. Yes. But I had a director who basically said, I really do believe in you. There's something different about you. I want you to try this. So I was sent to St. Petersburg for some time to teach at the school there.
Okay.
And I was there for about 2 weeks to kind of sub in while they were having me train a new instructor. And mind you, I was still kind of a teaching assistant. Yeah. So they were just like, there's something about this girl. Like, she's so good. And I was so happy about it. But I was like, I'm still a teaching assistant. Like, I'm so confused.
I'm still new, actually.
It's my third day out here.
Yeah.
But, like, I remember just, like, really loving what I did.
Yeah.
And when they said, okay, well, you did an excellent job in St. Petersburg. We want you to, take over this position. And I was like, I don't want to. Please, no.
Right.
But they said, you can do it.
Yeah.
My director was like, I believe in you. There's something about you. Like, you can do it. I don't know if it was gaslighting me.
Sure. It's like, let's manipulate this girl to get her to stay forever. You're really good.
Right. And I was just like, no, but he was such a wonderful guy too.
But there is something to it. Like, seriously, like I obviously like make jokes, but working at those schools was life-changing, and it was everything I've ever wanted. And the friends I have, the partners I've had, the relationships I've had, like, it's all came from that era of my life. And the owners of those schools he was such a gem. And except for the one in Las Vegas, he was not. But the owner of the Denver school and the owner of the Provo school was an angel, and I love him. We're very close till this day.
We love him.
The other one could actually kick rocks, and so could the director. At the Educator Institute in Las Vegas, Nevada. Okay, let me get specific.
She said the name too.
Yeah. Okay, and I say with my whole chest. Yeah. It's such a catch-22 because it's almost like we're all trauma bonded. Like, seriously, like, that's how it feels. Yeah.
But the whole situation with the school was basically a lot of learning. Yeah. So originally, the reason why I became an instructor was because the instructor got fired. Sure. Let's just put it that way, and in the nicest way. And they were 2 instructors. Okay. And they both were let go. And then I got both of those classes. Yeah. Mind you, the class was about 42 students.
I was going to say, that's a lot of people.
And I was 23 years old.
Yeah, girl.
a lot of the students were older than me.
Of course.
Your age. They were moms. They were,
like real adults.
Yes. Like, I'm just a girl. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
I just finished school last year.
Please don't ask me for help.
Right.
But they said, like, they would say things like, she's too young, or she doesn't know what she's talking about. And it was just like so disheartening, because it was like, wow, I was told I was really good. I don't know if I'm being gaslit, mind you. I was told it was really good. And then I'm in this position and I'm doing a good job. I had a TA, the other TA that was working with me. She became my TA, and she was like, I got you. Yeah. And she's amazing. Yeah. And she helped me through that process, because people were trying to get me fired.
Of course.
They would say a lot of, like, I was racist, and I was this, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, but I was really hard. And that military, like, my parents came out in me a lot of time. Write people up, send people home. I did not play. And I was like, I don't care if you think I'm 23.
I so relate to this so much, because similar, when I first started working in school, I was 17. There was no one possibly younger than me. And I would make comments about, like, these people that were 30, 40, 50 years old. And I'm like, why am I the one, right? Like, how did I get put in this position? Yeah. I so relate to this. But in beauty schools, they don't care. They don't care how old you are. They don't care your background. They put you where you need to be, because honestly, they just need the help. Right. But I similarly went through literal hazing, right? And, like, these crazy experiences. And it's like, hi, I'm just, like, at work. Wow. What do you mean people are, like, talking poorly about me? What do you mean that? But similar, in my class, there was no getting away with any of that. I was, like, very intentional with my verbiage. Like, I so relate to that. So relate to that. And it's like, I cannot help that I'm so young. I don't know what to tell you. Why don't you go talk to my boss?
Right.
Like, I don't
talk
know what
to my boss about it, and talk to the vice president of the company. He thought I was incredible. Totally, so I don't know. Like, but that thing was like, they were like, well, you're too young. That was the biggest thing. You're too young.
I got that a lot too. I get it.
It was, they even wrote a petition. The girls wrote a petition to get me fired. Yes. They
literally really tried. Okay, perfect.
Girl, they tried. Yes. But I had the qualifications. Right. I guess I knew what I was doing. I was trained in Milady. I was trained in SEMA and all of those things. And I was good at it. So I said, you know what? If you don't like it, like, I'm the only instructor. Totally. I'm sorry. Like, I'm learning as much as you are. And I would be very, obviously I was pretty strict. Yeah. I was like, okay, you guys need to be here 9 o'clock.
Right. And
because I'm sorry. In other beauty schools, they would close the door in your face.
Absolutely.
I remember when I was in my school, there was twice when I had a classmate that they had to go home.
Oh yeah. They would and lock they do not the door, care. Yeah.
And they would wave at you. Yeah. And I was like, all right, so I'm going to play that game too here.
It's an hours-based program, and, like, you can't get hours for time you weren't there for.
Right.
That's a legal accreditation. That's a law. Correct. Like, hello. But kids don't understand that. Right. You can stay short, but you're not going to get funded for this day. Correct. So go home. Like, the kids don't understand.
They did
the
not.
back end at all.
No. Yeah. And I remember, like, I would get messages, Miss Carolina, can I come in at 9:30? No. Like, I just came from a doctor's appointment.
No.
And it came to a point, but here's the thing, it came to a point that when I was letting them come in, because I had to, right? Then they would come at me, well, how come I'm missing this many hours? Yes. How come do you understand every minute counts here?
Yes.
Do you understand?
No, they don't. They don't understand.
You're a minute late. That takes a minute off of every single, like, they just didn't comprehend that. No. And I would have to break it down with them. I would even access their hours. Yeah. And I would break it down. Okay, this is your clock in. You came at 9:32. That takes 32 minutes off of the hours. Yep. So you have to come and make up those 32 minutes. Yes. And a lot of it was just frustrating because I felt like a lot of these adults were not adults.
Correct.
I felt like I was talking to kindergartners a lot of times.
Yep.
Potty break shouldn't take you 20 minutes.
No.
Unless you have a stomach ache, babe. I don't think that should take you 20 minutes.
Totally.
And I had to send people home for smelling like even marijuana.
Yeah, of course.
Like you did something during lunch break or you did something in the bathroom.
Like, yeah, but like, why do I even have to bring this up? We're adults.
Correct.
If I'm younger than you, which you've made it clear, why am I the one having to tell you what to do right now?
Right. And it was professionalism. I was really big on that. They would criticize me like, oh, you're always on your phone. Well, you're always on your phone. They tried to get me fired for that.
Sure.
And I was like, well, I have Teams on my phone.
Right.
I'm constantly messaging,
I'm emailing
other instructors, emailing. I'm trying to get back to this person. Right. This other person messaged me because she had to leave for lunch.
Right.
And everything I had to do on my phone. But it was such a double standard.
Right.
It was such a double standard, a lot of stress with the, just the students overall. But it taught me, it toughened me up.
Yeah.
It toughened me up.
Me too. No one can hurt my feelings. No, seriously. Like the things that I have been called and the things I have seen, the violence I've seen in schools, like, I've seen it. Nothing phases me anymore. And I've been doing this for a long time. There are many instances when I'm like, okay, like nothing phases me. Nothing surprises me. I actually, unfortunately, I like seek out the worst because I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, there's just no way. Yeah, no, I completely understand. Yeah,
it was a life-changing thing in itself because, again, you think that you go into this job and you're like, okay, let's being a teacher. Like, I'm just cute with my little teaching
with
stuff.
my little decor on my desk.
I'm so excited to teach people.
Yeah,
but mind you, in these beauty
battlefield.
schools, it's a battlefield, by the way, just saying. But you learn so much about yourself.
Bleeding. Please save me.
Like, I learned so much. And I know you learned a lot too about yourself and even how people react under stress. And when there's money involved, that's a whole other.
And when they're paying for it.
They're always just like, whoa, and I'm like, but aren't you paying for this? Then why are you getting mad at me when you're not showing up?
Don't you want to do work because you are paying for it? It's crazy.
Right.
Girl, I could talk about this for hours. Seriously. Like, it's really...
I could go on and on and on about this.
Ultimately, when I left, I just was so... Honestly, like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I felt like I have no confidence anymore. I feel no purpose. I had never felt appreciated.
Right.
And I was like, I am a bleeding heart. I care about these kids more than life itself. I got to take a step back. Like, I can't be doing this anymore. And I was devastated. I was hysterical when I left. And I was like, I'll never feel this part of me anymore. I thought I'd worked for them for years. You know, I'm sure you'd heard people that you worked with. I'm in the company for 10, 20, 30 years. I'm like, God, that's going to be me. Like, how cool. Have the logo tattooed on the side of my head. No. I'm like, wow. Yeah, I was like,
for real?
Yes.
No way. No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes.
No, you don't. No way. That's crazy.
Yes.
You were in the cold.
I was their sweetheart. No, 100%. Like, seriously, I did all this work for them for years. I mean, seriously.
Right now.
No, I'm telling you. Oh. And I ultimately at the end was just like, I got to go my own way. Seriously. Like, I gotta do something else. And it was crazy because, you know, it's such a God thing. The second that I was really taking a step back, I was like, the next thing has to revive me. It has to be a breath of fresh air. It has to breathe life back into me because I am a shell of who I used to be.
Correct.
And I found this girl when I was living in Vegas. Her name is Britt Wagner. She's the best. Ink by Britt. It was a permanent makeup academy, and it was also school. It was a permanent makeup school. And I was like, this is like a side step. This is going to be great for me. And she totally breathed life back into me. And I was a new human. I was back to normal within a few weeks. Seriously. Like, my whole life changed. I'm like, thank God. Seriously. Like, I can't be doing that anymore. Yeah. And obviously I've not gone back since. I worked for her for like a year, and it was the best year of my life. Seriously. Like, I loved her so much. So you decide you want to leave as well. I'm sure you felt similarly to me. You decide to leave. What does that look like for you?
It was an interesting transition because this happened literally in December of 2024.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's recent.
Almost a year. Yeah.
Yeah. Almost a year.
Yeah.
What?
It's
it
crazy.
feels like it was just yesterday. But I was just like, there were so many issues. And again, I loved my coworkers. I felt like I had a family. I did. And I know that sounds kind of toxic, but
I so get it. Trust.
I loved my coworkers, and I felt so sad whenever they would let somebody go or somebody would leave. I mean, it was always heartbreaking, and it came to a point where I just couldn't stand the stress anymore because it was stressing me out. It was stressing my coworkers out. And I told myself, like, it's time to go back. Yeah. It's time to go back. Let's do this. And I had been saving some money, you know, and I said, you know what, like, I really need to do this studio thing again. So it took a little bit of time, but I did tell my bosses, and this was a new director. Nobody, like, mind you, several different directors throughout the year. And this was a newer one. And I said, listen, Like, I would love to be here still. You know, I love my coworkers and stuff. I'd be a sub.
Yeah.
I'll be a sub.
Absolutely.
But I want to...
Or I'll teach, like, specialized classes, like, once a quarter or something.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, you know, I want to pursue my business again. And I have worked here before with having a business. And I said, I'm not necessarily opposed to coming back and being an instructor, but right now I really need to focus on my business. And it's probably going to take about a year. Yeah. So I was still kind of pledging my loyalty, but... unfortunately, there were some students down the line. I ended up doing like a marketing for a class for a friend of mine that used to work at the school as well. And she ended up leaving. And because there were active students from that school in this marketing class, and I had done the marketing for it, I was in the pictures doing a couple of things, and yeah, some students found that video on social media and they sent it to corporate. They're like, is she even supposed to be doing that? Right? Like,
stop.
Are you like, isn't she like still one of the instructors here? Like, isn't that like bad?
Stop.
So that whole thing, essentially they said, well, you are unrehirable. You are no longer here like ever again. Thank you for your time, but you basically breached contract. And I was like, breach contract? Like, but then when I look back at it now, I'm like, well, there were active students there. I was technically an active employee because I was a sub.
Sure.
And yeah, that's
that's crazy.
I didn't know. They said I made money off of it. I was fraternizing with them. And I was like, wow, like I was so heartbroken. And I was like,
gosh.
I never made money off of that class. And I ride at dawn for that. Never made a cent. I was just there to do the marketing. Happened to be students from that school. And, you know, it was heartbreaking again. Another heartbreak I went through in the industry. But
what is wrong with these students?
Mean.
Seriously. Like,
they were mean.
No.
They're mean girls.
Some of the meanest people I've ever met in my entire life are beauty school students.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't know what it is about it. I don't know what it is about the environment just breeds that. But seriously, the meanest girls I've ever met in my entire life were my students.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
I mean.
And I don't know what it is about that.
I don't either. I think, I don't know. Jealousy?
Maybe.
I think that's the root of all of it.
Sure. Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because, you know, they were so sweet to me. Like, oh my gosh, Miss Carolina, I love you. Like, you're the best instructor ever. Like,
bring
you're
you
the, oh my God. And then, they bring me Starbucks.
Yep. Yeah, me
Like,
too.
thank you. Like, thank you so much.
Students bring me clothes and jewelry and like, and then try and get me fired. I'm like, I'm so confused.
I'm confused. Do you love me or do you hate me?
Because it's feeling like you hate me. When you try and get me fired, I think you hate me.
Right.
Yeah.
And, these students, they just said, oh, Miss Carolina never taught us enough. She didn't do this. She didn't do that. And I was like, man, I really did my absolute best. And 100%. I went above and beyond. I would stay extra hours.
Of course.
I would, put a lot of my own money that I barely made, because you don't get paid a lot as an instructor for anything, just by the way, or anything. But I ended up just getting so frustrated. Yeah. And I said, well, I have no choice but to succeed.
Absolutely.
And I was on Instagram, basically. This is let me backtrack a little bit. This happened in December, January, where I ended up getting let go.
Sure.
But in December, November timeframe, I was looking for salon suites, and a lot of them were very expensive. Yeah. To a point where it's not justified.
They are expensive. I don't know why they're so expensive.
They are extremely expensive for no reason, respectfully. And the nicest way I can put it, it's like, what am I really paying for?
4 walls.
4 walls.
And the plumbing.
Correct. That's it.
Why is it $8,000 a month? Like, it's more than my house. I'm like, I'm so confused. There are suites that are more than this whole building. That's crazy. This building is huge. And there are a lot of suites that are more than this.
Yes. And it's like, you're making it impossible for entrepreneurs,
absolutely,
young estheticians, because there are still, even though I had a bad experience in certain areas, I also had amazing students that to this day still come to my salon suite now, and they're like, oh my God, Miss Carolina, like, I just did this and I just did that, and I made this and I made this video, and
that's
I did this
so
job,
sweet.
And they're so amazing,
and that's why we do it.
That's
that
exactly
connection why. I have, not with everyone obviously, but I have probably a good maybe about 100 girls that I've met through my 3 schools and through all those years that those are my girls.
The babies. They're my babies.
And that connection is, that's why I did it, right? And that connection is why I stayed for so long. And that connection is why I didn't want to leave, because I didn't want to see anything bad happen to them, right? And that's what is really beautiful about beauty schools is that connection. It obviously sometimes will get lost in the sauce, but that's why people stay in beauty schools. That's why people want to teach. And it always bothers me when people say like, oh, those who can't teach. No, those who just love their community so much decide to teach. I want nothing more than wring me out like a washcloth. I want you to take every ounce of me to better yourself.
Ask me those questions.
Yes,
please. Ask me, harass me.
Yes.
And that's why I stayed for the amount of time that I did, was for those people who loved me and valued me as an instructor. Absolutely. And they said, you're the best instructor I've ever had.
Yeah.
Like,
you've changed my life.
You changed my life. Yeah. Yes. And that's what made me stay. Like, aside from all the bad, because it wasn't all bad, but there were such amazing moments that I've gotten handwritten letters, I've been given gifts, and I just
pour their heart out to you.
Yes,
absolutely.
And I learned, there might be bad, but there's so much good that comes from that.
Yeah.
And in that, I had some students that are like, Miss Carolina, like, why aren't you on your own? Like, this is not a job for you. This is not, you shouldn't be here. Like,
Right.
go find something different. Like, they were literally telling me, like, go find something else.
It's nerve-wracking too, because you're like, but I work here now. I don't have any clientele. I've been here for a year. I have to start over.
Yes.
Which is clearly what happens.
It was terrifying.
Yeah.
So I was on Instagram, and I had been following this girl for a while. Her name is Sathi's Aesthetics. And I was a little like skeptical because I was still looking for salon suites, and this girl just like, I had just posted on my stories, like, does anybody know a salon suite like that is pretty affordable, that is these things? And nobody responded. But then as soon as I posted it on my story, it was the first like post that came up where looking for a suite, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's the algorithm, girl. They're hearing
it out and they hear you.
But it was the first thing that came up, and it was a nice room, and I was like, okay, let me check it out. I went and messaged her. I was like, hey, like, I'm looking right now. And she's like, okay, come whenever you can. I met her, and again, I had done a couple of tours. I think I went to like 4 or 5 different places, and she was my 5th place that I had gone to. I had technically offers for 2 different spots. So I was in between them, and then obviously this extra one. But I met Tati, and I had a lot of great chemistry with her from the get-go. And she was like, so like, there was something about her that I was just like, I need to be with her. There's something about her. I love her. We sync so well, so easily, so quickly. And I'm afraid when that happens, like, trust issues.
I get it.
Bombs.
Yeah, literally. You're like, this is too good to be true. We can't be doing this.
This is too good to be true, yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm actually really interested in the spot. And, I talked to her, and my aunt came. My aunt is like
we love her.
We love her.
We love
Sonia,
her.
my aunt, love her to death. She came, and she said, no, there's something about you two together that's just, you need to be here. There's something.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, well, I'm interested. Can you send me the contract? And she did. I signed, and she gave me some time because I was going to go to New York City. About 2-3 weeks after I had signed it, I was like, listen, I can't move in just yet because I do have a trip that I'm planning for. And is it okay? I can give you the deposit, but is it okay if I move in later than next week?
Day, yeah.
And she was like, that's fine. Absolutely. And she was kind enough to do that. And that alone, I was like, wow, not everybody's doing that. Because usually salon suite owners are like, you need to pay the weeks that you're not here. But she was, by the grace of God, she was super sweet. And she was like, it's okay. Like, go on your trip, come back. That's when you start paying. And did that. And then ever since then, I've just been slowly growing, and our relationship has just flourished. And she was telling me like, oh my gosh, you're my answered prayer. And I'm like, no, you're my answered prayer.
You have no idea.
No, you.
Right.
We have a lot of great chemistry, and we're very close. And obviously this is when you have to differentiate business and professional. Right. There's 2 different relationships that we have. I respect her as my tenant. Not my tenant.
Absolutely.
I'm her tenant. As my landlord, essentially. And she respects me as a business owner. And we still have that like layer as a friendship. Absolutely. And that's hard to find because I've been kind of in that position before. Yeah, absolutely. And it didn't work out. So
we similarly here, there's a husband and wife that own the building, and then I just get to manage it. And similarly, we're extremely close, but also in here, it's different. At home, it's different. And you do have to find that balance, and it's really tricky. But separating my personal life and my work life is something I've always taken really seriously, and you just have to.
You have to.
Talk to me about your technical now. What services are you offering? What does your business look like now that you're thriving? Tell me about it.
Well, the crazy thing is that I'm not exactly where I want to be yet.
Sure.
But I can say the amount of growth that this happened in the last few months even has been incredible.
Yeah.
So I offer, like I said earlier, I do brows, lashes, and body waxing, mainly Brazilians. That's my specialty. That I love doing Brazilians, and we'll talk about that. But I also offer those facials, dermaplaning, nano needling, chemical peels. I really love that sector of facial treatments. I used to be really into the how do you call it? The swish, the motion, the really foo-foo facials.
Sure, yeah. Fluff and buff.
Yeah, fluff and buff. But I can't anymore.
Yeah.
It puts me to sleep.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's not anymore.
Yeah.
And I also ended up having like pain in my hands.
Yeah.
Which I remember in school they talked about
Body mechanics, baby. They're real.
They're very real. So I did so many facials, not only in school, but after school, that my hands started cramping a lot, which I don't feel that same pain as much as when facials, body waxing and brows and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So kind of lean off facials.
Your hands are everything. You gotta take care of them. Seriously. Yeah.
So, and your back and your, ergonomics is super important.
It is.
Didn't take it seriously in school.
Yep.
I'm going to be straight up with you.
I know. I'm always on these girls. I'm always on them. Anytime I see them banana back like me, I'm like, you have got to sit up because that's what's
banana back is so cute.
No, seriously. I'm like, I like typing on my computer like this. Let's talk about body waxing specifically. We haven't had anyone on the show really who's talked about body waxing. We've had a little bit of sugaring. Yeah, but you should. Yeah. Tell me about why you're interested in body waxing. Why do you think girls are scared of it? Why do you think it gets such a weird rep?
Wow, that's a heavy
lot
question.
Of points. Yeah,
it's a lot of points. So why do I like body waxing? Essentially, it's kind of satisfying. I know it sounds weird, but it's so satisfying. Also, there's something about waxing that feels so like task complete.
Yes.
I don't know how to explain it. It's just so satisfying, so nice to do.
It's very organized.
Very organized, very easy to do. And that was huge, right? With my students, I was super on top of them with the ergonomics, with their ergonomics, with their waxing, with how they're, applying their products, etc. And for me, waxing was not taught well in school.
Yeah. I agree.
It was never taught well. Yeah. There's actually videos of me when I was first waxing. They're on my Instagram. You can still check them out. I was horrible. But I was being taught the figure 8 method.
Of course.
The figure 8.
Yeah,
that's what they're teaching you. Yeah. Please don't do that. You're going to hurt your client.
Yes.
But I do love body waxing just overall because it's also a confidence booster.
I was going to say, it's very like black and white. It's very like, there's no guessing involved. Like skin, there is a bit of guessing, but with waxing, it's like you come in, you get waxed, you go home.
Yeah,
There is no opportunity for confusion or growth or like work on this at home. You know what I mean? Like a little bit, but like I understand why girls gravitate towards it because once you can kind of like niche down and like really do it well, I can imagine, it's a moneymaker. Yeah.
And it's a moneymaker.
Yeah.
The thing with waxing is that you really have to perfect your hand motion.
Absolutely.
The greatest thing about it is it's practice. I mean, with everything, but with waxing in specific, once you get it down, you get it down.
Yes.
Like there's nobody that can stop you
and there's
at that
no
point.
like differentiating between like skin type, skin texture. Like it really gets to be kind of the same rinse and repeat, which is nice.
Yes. And a lot of clients, they're scared of it. And then once they do it, they end up falling in love with it, which makes it easier for you that, oh my gosh, well, this person's going to be happy, even if I pull extra strips or if I have to pull out the soft wax, they're not going to be upset with me or, things like that.
Are you primarily really a hard wax girl?
I'm a hard wax girl.
Yeah, I love hard wax too.
I do too. It's so good.
It's so good.
I love it because it's so simple.
Yeah.
And when I was teaching my students, they were like, well, I don't understand waxing. And I was on the same boat. But once again, I started practicing. I actually had a Brazilian wax fail, my first wax ever. In the first studio that I was in with my old instructor. I had a girl come in and she was like, and she booked the Brazilian wax. I had done a Brazilian wax course in school, but I was actually kind of icked out by it. I was like, I don't want to do this, but I'll get the certification just to say I can do it. put it on my booking. A girl booked it.
Of course. You're like dying.
And I remember the anxiety that I felt. And I watched videos and so many different techniques. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so scary. And I did it. And it took me an hour.
Yeah.
Which it should not take you an hour to do a Brazilian wax, by the way. But it took me an hour, and she was super kind and sweet. And it wasn't the best.
Yeah.
And after
hard.
that, I made it my mission to learn waxing. And I did like several online courses, and I mainly YouTube was my best friend in practice. I had friends, I had family. My mom came for Brazilians. My aunt came for Brazilians. We do.
Moms do everything. They're like, they have no hair left. Their head hair looks crazy. Their eyelashes are like this.
Yeah, my poor mom and my aunt, same thing.
Yes,
my cheerleader, I love her.
Yes.
But she came in and she was like, let's do this. And I was practicing on her, and over time was when I really mastered it. So when I became an instructor, I taught my students the proper way to wax, the way that they're teaching at these chain waxing places, because the way that they're teaching you in the school is nowhere near.
Yeah, no.
And
it's not very efficacious.
It's not.
No.
And I was actually told by, funny enough, when I was an instructor, that I wasn't teaching waxing properly. And I said, no.
Yeah.
You're teaching waxing from probably 1993.
100%. Yes.
Yes. And, you know, waxing not only has the technology of wax change, the
wax itself is different. Yeah,
yes,
100%.
It's so different. You don't need to do this to get the hair.
No.
The hair will get picked up just by that swipe, and you're good to go. But I was told, like, you shouldn't be teaching them that. You need to stick to the book. The book says the figure 8. Stick to the book. And I was like, no.
Yeah, no.
And that was, you know, a huge thing. But I was like, listen, I'm in the industry currently, or I was, you know. I know waxing. I really want these girls to master it, because a lot of these girls aren't here for facials.
Sure.
A lot of them were there for lashes and eyebrows and waxing, and they're like, well, we're facial specialists, but we want to learn everything. So then later on, if we have to find a job that we don't want in the moment, at least we can get it because we're, you know, trained in it and versed in it. But with waxing overall, I would say there's a lot to it, but again, practice.
Yeah,
practice is your best teacher.
Yeah, I agree. So if someone is listening to this and they are in a similar position as you, maybe they've kind of bounced around a little bit, maybe they've wanted to learn a sweep, but they've gotten a bit nervous, what advice do you have for someone who is ready to make the jump but is scared?
Ooh. That's a great question. It's you have to believe in yourself. I know that sounds super cheesy and like something that, oh my God, here we go. Like, but you have to.
Absolutely.
You have to believe in yourself. You have to have a team as well. It takes a village to raise a child. They always say that, but it's the same thing with a business. It takes a village. Make sure you have the support. Make sure you have the team. And also, despite all doubts, despite all the setbacks, despite, you know, being told no, failing, restarting, failing again, being told you're not good enough, you have to believe in yourself. Absolutely. And you are your biggest supporter, ultimately. And there's going to be people that will support you if you believe in yourself. But again, the confidence in yourself is where it starts, really.
Absolutely.
So even if, again, you are not exactly where you want to be and you're like, I don't want to be at this job, like this job kind of sucks, stay there. Yeah. But keep in mind, you have a vision. You have to go through all of this to get to where you want to be. And that's exactly what happened with me.
That's good. Yeah. I always say too, you know, what is meant to be for you will find you.
Correct. Yeah.
And it might not feel like it right now, but it will. Absolutely. What is on the horizon for you? What's new? What's coming up? Where do you see yourself in a couple years?
Wow, that's a great question. I absolutely love what I do. I would love to have a larger space down the line, because I am still in a studio. But I do see myself in a larger studio, probably renting out to other estheticians. That's probably a general answer, but I really would like to have a running business down the line with other estheticians, so that I can, you know, get married and start a family and do my thing, but also have a running business.
Perhaps getting married soon?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
Maybe one day, but I would like to start thinking about that next chapter of my life and however that may be.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't happen, regardless, I really would love to just have my own place, my own business. I am looking into permanent makeup.
Ooh.
Tattooing is my potential next venture.
Okay.
So you were saying that you were into that as well. So I'm like, I have some questions to ask you. But ombre powder brows, micro shading, combo brows is it's exactly where I'm headed to. So that's potentially in the near future within the next year of training. But I just love doing eyebrows and having my own place with other estheticians it would be my dream.
Yeah, I love that. That's so fun. This industry is so beautiful because you can really do whatever you want, right? I always say that too, is you can make as much money as you want or as little money as you want. You can work a lot or work a little. You can have a bunch of babies and do both, or you know, like you have a lot of flexibility in that, which is always really, you know, empowering, I think, especially for women. Yeah. You know, you don't have to necessarily give anything up to like chase something. You can be really flexible. Yeah. This was so fun, seriously. And I love learning about your journey and your experiences. And I feel like, you know, you and I have such a unique perspective in this industry. Yes. And anyone who's listening to this who went to beauty school, I want you right now to email or text or DM on Instagram or Facebook a previous educator of yours and just tell them thank you.
Please tell them you love them.
For helping you be molded into the provider that you are today, because it's really hard and they don't get enough credit. Tell everyone where they can find you. Tell everyone how they can book with you. If you have any specials going on, plug yourself, tell everyone where they can find you.
Ooh, plug. I love me a good plug. Yes. So you can find me on Instagram, Aesthetics by Carolina Torres. I also am on TikTok. It's actually under _Coastal Barbie. That is like my big, I love like coastal. That's very me. Barbie, of course, I told you. Very girly girl. But I am on there as well. I'm very active on TikTok. And you can also find me on my personal Instagram, which I'm also basically posting the same thing on TikTok on my personal, _Coastal Barbie. And in terms of specials, I do have a combo Brazilian in-brow, like September special. And then I have one for brow and hybrid tint because I do henna on the eyebrows as well. I just partnered with a new brand and I'm so hyped. They're so good. And then I also have a fall pumpkin enzyme facial. So I still do some. I love it. It smells so good. And essentially, if you ever want to come find me, I'm on Instagram, very, very active on social media. That's another kind of side note. Please be active on social media if you are a business owner.
You have to be.
Do that for yourself. But I am just on here. And if you have any questions, like, please DM me. I'm very, very active. Like I said, 10 times.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much. Seriously, this was so fun. I'm going to have to shoot you a DM too about some Instagram things and we can do some collabs, you know.
That'd be so much fun. Let's do it.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode and we will see you next week. Bye.